Anyway, you may have noticed that all of the speakers today are women. And so you may be asking yourself, who's this prick with a microphone? Well, ladies, gents, and the mentally unwell, I identify as gender fluid. And so while I give this speech, I am a woman. And after this speech, I will become a man again. See, that's how ridiculous this entire ideology is. You can't shout at me now, lads, I'm a woman. You're being transphobic! They're being transphobic, guys! I have never felt so victimised. Between 2018 and 2022, there have been 40 rapes on campus. 40 rapes. That's one every couple of weeks here. And with the constant talk of a supposed rape culture over the last few years, you would think that such a place would be against men dressing up in skirts to perv in women in the changing rooms. But apparently not. You see, that behaviour is encouraged and ultimately forced onto the rest of society. This is very much akin to any typical authoritarian regime. Let me tell you a story. And this is really interesting, guys, so listen up. At a school not far from here, a young boy decided he wanted to socially transition. But he didn't just want to role play as a female. He wanted to use their bathrooms and sport teams. The school, refusing the first request, told him to use the disabled toilets. He didn't like this. He threw up a tantrum, raging on about discrimination. The school ended up conceding, allowing him to use the female bathrooms. They didn't, however, fight against his immediate request to use the female sport teams. They seemed pretty much up for that. After hearing that this boy will be joining their daughters in the changing room and sport teams, a group consisting of devoutly religious and non-religious parents banded together and pulled their children out of sporting classes. This was done in an attempt to mitigate any physical and emotional damage this posed to their daughters. While this was the best course of action, it meant that a lot of young girls could no longer partake in any sporting activities at the school. The trans woman later got in a fight with a young lesbian girl. The young girl fought back against the tranny. But ultimately, guess who was punished for transphobia? The girl who was attacked by the transgender. How disgusting is that?
Absolutely vile.
At the end of it, you have 30 people who've been affected by this one person. Are 30 people truly worth one person?
No.
I can't hear you, come on! No. They're saying it's boring hearing about children being perved on. You're here counter-protesting an event, bringing awareness to the fact men are perving on 13-year-old girls. Give your head a bubble! Now, I've already said that. Now, when I went to get a haircut the other day, I was speaking to this gentleman who has 2 younger daughters. And when he would take them into the male changing rooms, men would walk around with their meat just flapping out. Even in those situations, he is disgusted by it. As you can see, there are 2 younger girls with him. And you may ask why he doesn't just let them go into the women's changing facilities alone. Well, the large quantity of naked men in those types of spaces makes it a concern for every single parent. They like to think we're the minority, but every single father and mother out there discounting the males who've been feminized are against the use of female spaces by biological men. Listen, right, I think you'll find there's a lot of articles out there and studies. I suggest you go read them on your own. There's a lot of articles and studies which prove that the majority of transgender prisoners in both England and Wales are, in fact, rapists. In fact, right, there was a study of 125, right? 125 people, transgender people in prison, who'd been arrested for multiple different offences. At least 60 of them had a criminal history of sexual assaults and rape. I think that what this proves is a lot of this movement, obviously you have a big part which is gender dysphoria, but a lot of this movement is inherently sexual. It's also trying to philia. They get a kick out of seeing themselves as a woman. And you've also got the BDSM subculture of humiliation. They like being humiliated in public. We've seen this from Pride demos. Have you walked around a Pride demo? They're walking around in gimp suits, on leashes, in pup play. Is this the culture we want to promote to our children? You're damn right it's no. And to the students out there, I know a lot of Gen Z are waking up to this. Even my 18-year-old brother is becoming increasingly aware of what is going on in the Pride movement. And my 11-year-old brother, he spends all of his time on TikTok ridiculing these people. He's 11. But listen, I want to thank you so much. Let's socialise and have a little bit of fun before we go. Let's waste that day, yeah? Cheers, guys. Thank you.